Backchat TV. Subscribe.
He has also talked about it. That left hook is so good, and it's so long and so precise and so hard, but
What's going on, boxing fans? It's Backchat TV and we're back with another one. Frank Martin wins a highly competitive, very close fight, majority decision against German-born Harutyunyan. Tough guy. He was tough. A lot of people have reacted to the fight. Most people are saying that the fight was too close for Frank Martin, because Frank Martin is a highly touted, new lightweight who's been knocking out a lot of guys, and he looks very good physically. Great defense. Fights under the Derek James stable. I'm always forgetting his name when I make reference to him for some reason, but he spars and trains with Errol Spence and Jermaine Charlo regularly, and he's part of that camp, and you can see it in his style. Extremely fit. They really push each other over there, and that's the reason actually why I think that their stable is one of the best. Derek James, I think, is one of the best trainers, and he's producing some amazing fighters, man. He's really producing. Derek James is producing some great stars here, and Frank Martin is definitely one of them. Now, he had a close fight, and a lot of people have reacted on social media as usual. Oh, maybe he's a hype job, like you're not allowed to have difficult fights. Basically, they're trying to say that he shouldn't have struggled with this guy Harutyunyan. But the truth is, there are a lot of fighters outside of America who are good fighters, unbeaten records, good fighters, and you only realize them when they fight one of the Americans. That's when the rest of the world kind of sees them. That's when they actually have the exposure that they didn't get in their native countries. And you see these people coming from, the Philippines and, like I said, some other parts of Europe. You see some fighters, tough fighters, Russian fighters and people that you've never seen, and they turn out to be tougher than you thought, and I think this guy is one of those people. So I wouldn't say that it is unusual that you can get, a really good fighter that maybe you haven't heard much about. You know what I mean? I think it's good when you see somebody have to dig deep. I personally feel Frank Martin was up against a good fighter who was a hard puncher, and I think that was the difference in this fight, because he was a hard puncher. Physically, I think he was bigger than Martin as well. He had power, hard puncher. He was in good shape. And he gave Frank Martin his toughest fight so far. Are these alarm bells? Maybe. I feel like they may be alarm bells here for Frank Martin for a few reasons. So, first of all, he's got a championship heart. He turned it up when he was kind of arguably losing in the middle rounds. He turned it up in the middle rounds, I think round maybe 6, 7, 8, 7, 8, 9. He turned it up a little bit, and he had 3 occasions where he had Harutyunyan kind of on the ropes, where he was throwing a lot of shots and started being more aggressive. And basically, he should have been more aggressive from the beginning. He actually says this in his post-fight interview, that he was giving Harutyunyan too much space and giving him too many chances. I think the reason why he was giving him chances is because he was looking for the counter, and by doing that, he realized that he was giving the guy too much time to set up his shots. So once he started kind of pushing the pace on the guy, throwing lots of shots, lots of angles, really pushing the pace and being more aggressive, he looked really good. And he was kind of outclassing Harutyunyan when he did that. When he sat back and was looking for the counter, that's when Harutyunyan would land, these vicious body shots and looping shots. you know, and that's when the guy would kind of start to get the upper hand. One thing I like about Frank Martin, he's got great defense. He looks like he's doing everything right, but he's just a bit small. That's the only thing that actually worries me about Frank Martin. And I'm not convinced that Frank Martin has the power, anything close to the power that Gervonta Davis has. So I think he's going to struggle as a smaller fighter, to be honest. And fighting some of the fighters that are at 135 pounds, I think may beat him just because they're naturally bigger and they naturally punch harder. He spoke about Shakur Stevenson not having power, but I think he'll struggle against Shakur. Not just because of the skills, because Frank Martin has skills, but I think there will be a power difference as well. Because if you look at someone like Shakur Stevenson is obviously quite a lot bigger than Frank Martin as well. Despite the fact that people say Shakur doesn't have power, I kind of disagree. I have a feeling that he may struggle, but so far on this performance, it was a good performance. He turned it up a few times throughout the fight, and he turned it up when it mattered in the last round. So I think he won convincingly in the end, and I think that was good enough. So, you know, for people saying that the fight was so close, it showed a lot. It showed maybe he shouldn't have won, or people who had him losing. I wouldn't say that. I think it was very close up until the last round. But the last two rounds, I think he kind of stamped his authority on it, and he shut out the last round. Definitely for a win in my book. So, you know, Frank Martin goes forward, still unbeaten. But as you know, I love to hear your views. What did you think of the fight? Do you think the fight was too close to call? Do you think that he lost? Do you think the other guy won? Do you think Frank Martin closed it out in the last round? I certainly think he did. Do you think going forward he stands a chance against the likes of Shakur Stevens and Devin Haney, Gervonta Davis, you know, and the rest of the fighters that are still at 135 pounds? He's definitely a contender. Definitely, I would say he's a contender. He has the ability and the skills to maybe beat any one of those fighters on a bad day. But, you know, I personally don't put him in that bracket yet. From his performances, struggling against a slightly bigger guy. I'm not sure yet. Not completely sold on Frank Martin. Let me know what you think in the comments. I'm on to the next one. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment. Feel free to like this video and subscribe to my channel. I'm going to be doing a lot more of a similar nature.